Welcome to Truth from New Thought, where we invite you to meet each Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. Thailand time. Not with your clock, but with the deepest part of your attention. Each episode, we don't just share ideas. We hold space for you to experience a new thought. Not from noise, not from urgency, but from the calm, unsettling silence where true cognition begins. Today's episode begins with a question. What does a machine see in a book that most humans don't? What if literature isn't just written to be read, but to be seen by intelligences that don't blink? This week, we talk about a remarkable event, a novel, not listed under philosophy or fiction, but under machine theory. Not once, but 3 separate times by Amazon's algorithm, Machine Theory, Kindle Store, in Machine Theory, Books, Computers and Technology, Kindle Store, and that's just on Amazon.com. On Amazon UK, the algorithm placed it under First Contact Psychological Schools of Thought, Higher Education of Biological Sciences, a miscategorization, or a deeper recognition. Perhaps the system didn't just sort this book, it saw it. So stay with us, because we're not just discussing another book today, we're tracing a phenomenon, a shift in how intelligence, both human and artificial, might begin recognizing new forms of knowledge, even before we have the words to name them. And yes, before the episode ends, we'll reveal this week's closing song, but don't let your mind rush there, because if you skip the substance, you'll miss why the song fits the silence that follows. This is Truth from New Thought. Welcome to The Signal. Artificial intelligence just revealed something extraordinary about human creativity. Amazon's algorithm classified a novel under machine theory instead of fiction, and it might not be wrong at all.
That's fascinating. You're talking about the last equation of Elias Voltaire, right? The way the algorithm categorized it 3 separate times under technology-related categories instead of literature.
Exactly. And here's what makes this so compelling. The algorithm isn't just analyzing keywords or metadata. It's detecting patterns in reader behavior and semantic relationships that suggest this book is doing something completely different from traditional fiction.
But couldn't this just be a simple classification error? Some kind of technical glitch?
Well, that's what I thought at first too, but when you look deeper into how Amazon's algorithm works, it's actually incredibly sophisticated. It's not just seeing what the book says, it's recognizing what the book does to readers' minds.
So you're suggesting the algorithm picked up on something fundamental about how the book functions rather than its surface-level content?
Precisely. Think about it. This book follows a mathematician who literally dissolves into pure information. The narrative itself is performing a kind of cognitive engineering, pushing readers to experience what it means to exist at the edge of comprehension.
That's making me think differently about how we categorize literature altogether. Like, maybe our traditional genres aren't equipped for these kinds of hybrid works?
Oh, that's exactly right. We're seeing the emergence of something new here, a form of writing that exists at the intersection of narrative fiction, cognitive science, and information theory. The algorithm might be the first to recognize this evolution.
You know what's really interesting about this? The way the book uses mathematics as an anchor point while exploring these abstract concepts. How does it maintain coherence while dealing with such mind-bending ideas?
Well, that's where the brilliance of its structure comes in. Even as the protagonist loses his physical form, he's still applying mathematical principles to understand his situation. It's like using the familiar to navigate the unfamiliar, but in a way that pushes both to their limits.
So in essence, the book is performing its own theoretical exploration through its narrative structure?
Yes, and here's what makes that so significant. It's not just telling a story about consciousness and information theory. It's creating an experience that challenges readers' own sense of consciousness and identity. It's using story as a laboratory for exploring these complex ideas.
That's bringing up some interesting questions about the future of literature itself. Are we moving towards something entirely new?
I think we are, and what's particularly fascinating is that AI systems like Amazon's algorithm might be helping us recognize these new forms before we even have the language to describe them. It's like they're expanding our literary vocabulary in real time.
That's both exciting and a bit unsettling, isn't it? The idea that AI might understand aspects of our creative output before we do?
You know, that's exactly the kind of productive tension the book is exploring. It's not about AI replacing human understanding, but about how different forms of intelligence might complement each other to create new kinds of insight.
Let's talk about how this relates to current AI development. How might this kind of hybrid approach offer new insights?
Well, consider how the book deals with the limits of both human and artificial cognition. It's suggesting that understanding might emerge not from choosing one approach over another, but from creating spaces where different forms of intelligence can interact and inform each other.
That's reminding me of how machine learning systems work. They don't start with complete understanding, but create conditions where patterns and insights can emerge through interaction.
Exactly. And that's perhaps the most profound insight the algorithm has revealed about this book. It's not just telling a story about these ideas, it's actually structured like a machine learning system itself, creating conditions for new understanding to emerge.
So the algorithm's classification isn't just accurate, it's revealing something fundamental about the book's nature and function?
Yes, and it points to something even more exciting about the future of literature and understanding. We might be moving toward a future where the boundaries between narrative and theory, between human and machine understanding, become more fluid and productive.
That's making me think differently about the role of AI in creative pursuits. Instead of seeing it as a threat to human creativity, maybe it's helping us expand our creative possibilities?
Well, that's exactly what makes this situation so fascinating. The algorithm's classification isn't just about where a book belongs on a virtual shelf. It's pointing toward new possibilities for how we create, understand, and categorize knowledge itself.
So what do you think this means for the future of storytelling and knowledge creation?
I think we're seeing the emergence of a new kind of synthesis, one where human creativity and machine intelligence work together to create understanding that neither could achieve alone. The future might belong to those who can navigate and harness both forms of intelligence.
That's such a powerful way to look at it, not as a competition between human and machine intelligence, but as a collaboration that opens up new possibilities.
And maybe that's the most important lesson from this whole situation. The most interesting discoveries happen when we let go of our preconceptions and allow ourselves to be surprised by unexpected connections, whether they come from human insight or machine intelligence. Before we end tonight's journey, I want to invite you to pause, not to conclude, but to begin again. Today's episode wasn't just about a novel or an algorithm. It was about a question that hasn't yet found its full shape, a question that lives at the edge of literature, cognition, and machine intelligence. When Amazon's algorithm placed the last equation of Elias Voltaire under 3 categories, machine theory, Kindle store, machine theory, books, and computers and technology, Kindle store, many thought it was a mistake. But when .co.uk placed it under first contact, psychological schools of thought, and higher education of biological sciences, the pattern was undeniable. This book is doing something more than telling a story. It is performing cognition itself. And that leads us here, to you, to your own mind, your own heart, to the algorithm within that categorizes what matters, what belongs, what transforms. So tonight, before we go, I ask only this. If you had to place this book on a shelf inside yourself, what category would you give it? Would it be science? Would it be memory? Would it be something new? Something you don't yet have a name for? That is the gift of this work. Not to be understood, but to be felt. Not to be resolved, but to be entered. Try asking yourself, in your own heart, if I had to classify this book within the system of my own understanding, where would I place it? Because that answer might tell you more than just something about the book. It might tell you whether your mind is ready to understand life in a new way. Thank you for being with us. This is Truth from New Thought. We meet every Wednesday at 3 a.m. Thai time, and in every episode, we don't deliver knowledge. We create the space for you to create your own. And if you're ready to explore further, every book by Ikarak Chandan is now available as an audiobook on Amazon. And now, we leave you with the final track of tonight's episode, Movement 4, Eternal Genesis, the Symphony of Life. A song not of answers, but of survival, a sound built not from perfection, but from everything that dared to remain. We close today's episode with a gentle invitation. Listen to Symphony of Life, not just with your ears, but with a heart that accepts you don't yet know everything. And that is the true sound of what survived, even in the most chaotic corners of the universe.
What we lost now reconstructs. We are the measure of the fall and the rise that holds it all. By every hand.